up, guys? It's Nate. I'm back, and finally, we are going to talk about Scream 7. Yes, let's do it. Let's talk about Scream 7, everybody. There's lots to talk about. So I've decided to do this. It's not going to be really edited in any way. I just kind of roll it off the cuff here. There's so much to talk about. Biggest news, obviously, being that Scott Foley and Matthew Lillard have been announced to be a part of Scream 7. They have joined the cast officially. Now, what does that mean? Well, there's a lot of possibilities, obviously. One of the theories I want to get out there right now that I just absolutely think is not happening, I think there's more than enough proof on this, is I saw a lot of people saying, like, well, maybe Scream 7 is like a new Nightmare kind of movie where, Scream 1 through 6 was just movies and it's the actors playing themselves. And a real life Ghostface starts coming after the actors that starred in the Scream movies. That I think is absolutely not what's going to happen. For several reasons. Number one, where's David Arquette? Where's all these other people that most certainly would be announced if that was the case? Number two, because of a lot of the leaked casting sides and information that we've gotten directly from leaks from the casting process, we know that Gale Weathers, cameraman, has been cast in the movie. We know that Sydney's daughter has been cast in the movie. We also know that it's been established in Scream 5 and Scream 6 that Sydney Prescott has a husband named Mark. And as we know, that role has also been cast. Her husband, Mark, has been cast in the film. So I think that right there shows you that it's not a new Nightmare scenario. Some of the other theories out there, though, are pretty interesting. Obviously, a big one is that, they're just going to be visions. Like, maybe Sydney is now seeing visions, similar to how Sam is seeing visions of Billy in Scream 5 and 6. Maybe she's seeing visions of Stu. Maybe she's having visions of Roman. That I think it's possible, but I think it's unlikely just because it seems a little late into the game to be introducing something like that. Like, to have her now after all this time, Scream 7, over the course of almost 30 years, she's just now seeing visions of these killers that tried to attack her. So again, my opinion, I have nothing to back this up. It's just an opinion. But my opinion is that it is possible, but I think it's unlikely. Another theory is that it will be some sort of a dream sequence. Sydney is possibly having a nightmare in which some of or all of, we don't know yet. They might not be done announcing stuff, and they may be saving some announcements for later, and they may be keeping some people secret. But a nightmare sequence where she's having a nightmare about these past killers that have tried to kill her, I think that's very possible. And I think that it is also way more likely than it being visions that she's, seeing, a la Sam seeing Billy. So, excuse me. I also don't necessarily think that is definitely what it is. But I think it's a lot more likely than the other scenario of the visions. So I think a nightmare scenario is very possible. And I think it is absolutely should be up there as one of the more likely scenarios. Another rumor / theory is that the new killer is going to be using AI technology to mess with, you know, his victims, to mess with Sydney. You know, he could use AI technology to create sort of this, you know, creating videos that make it appear as though you know, Stu is the one after her or Roman is still alive. That again, I think it's very possible. I think it's also likely. I think it has a good chance of being that. So I would put that also in the list of, you know, I think these are have some real possibilities here as being what we are going to get. Another theory is that whoever the killer is simply just going to be using Roman's voice changer. Somehow they get a hold of Roman's voice changer, and you know, Matthew and Scott are simply coming back as voice. The new killer will be using Roman's voice changer, and we'll have Roman's voice, and we'll have Stu's voice, and, you know, maybe the voices of some other past killers. You know, again, probable, definitely, likely, sure. I think it's absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. So that I would also put up there with a good possibility of something to do with their voices. And of course, you know, one of the biggest theories is that you know, Stu's still alive, and he's going to be shown as being, he's been alive this whole time, and he's the mastermind and been the mastermind this whole time, and he's been, you know, responsible for everything from day one, sort of scenario. That and this is no disrespect to my, you know, my brother at Steven over at Craven Something Scary. I know how much you want that to happen, brother, and I'm all for that for you. But in my opinion, I don't think that is the case, and I'll tell you why. I don't think there's any chance in hell that they would have announced Matthew Lillard as returning if he was supposed to be this big surprise reveal of like, surprise, Sydney, I'm Stu and I'm still alive and I've been alive this whole time and I'm the mastermind, and there's no way. And some people say like, well, they didn't want it to leak, or that, you know what? They kept Skeet totally top secret for Scream 5. You know, that information did not leak out that Skeet Ulrich was returning for Scream 5. And that's why our jaws hit the floor the first time we see him on screen as a vision to Sam, because they kept that a secret. So if they were keeping that a secret, there's no way that they're going to announce Matthew as returning if the reason he's returning is because he's supposed to be the surprise killer. There's no way. It would ruin the surprise. They know by announcing this that a lot of people are going into this movie waiting for that moment, waiting for, okay, we know he was cast in some way, shape, or form. When's he going to show up? Is it a vision? Is it a nightmare? Is he still alive? Is it just his voice? Is it an AI video? Is it this? Is it that? They know that people are going to be, you know, tuned in for that. And I'm not saying that's the only reason that people are going to tune in, but it's a big thing that people are going to go into this movie for, me included. So yeah, I'm saying no way is he still alive and is a mastermind, secret killer, or anything like that. Because again, number one, I do believe he is dead. I do not fall into the Stu is alive theory at all. But again, that's just my personal opinion. It's no offense to anybody that believes that he's alive or wants him to be alive. I personally think he's dead. I think he should stay dead. That's my personal opinion. But again, even if I thought that there was a slight chance that they would actually do something like that and bring him back and say, you know what, guys, he's been alive this whole time, and surprise, he's this mastermind killer and he's been controlling everything from a mental institution or from a prison or whatever. Even if I thought that they were possibly going to go that route, which I don't, I don't think there's any possible way they would have announced him coming back. They would have kept that shit top secret as they did, more secret than they did about Skeet coming back for Scream 5. There's just no way. There's no way they would have announced Matthew returning if he was going to be a surprise killer or surprise he's still alive. But again, I don't know that for a fact. I could be wrong, of course. I don't think I'm wrong, though. I really, 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 I think if you use your head a little bit, and again, I mean that respectfully, but I think if we all just use our head a little bit and really think about it, I think we would all see and agree, like, there, if he was supposed to be alive and a surprise killer, there's no way they would have announced him. Now, another theory I want to throw out there, and this was one that I had thought of when they first announced Scott Foley is coming back, which I thought was way more surprising than when they announced Matthew. People have wanted Matthew to appear in another Scream movie in some way, shape, or form for a long time, whether it's the people that want him to still be alive or the people that are like, hey, we got visions of Billy, why don't we get visions of Stu? It'd be great to see Matthew come back. You know, it's something people have wanted for a really long time. So I was honestly not as shocked when they announced Matthew is returning as I was when they announced that Scott Foley was returning. And one of my first thoughts when they announced Scott Foley as returning is I thought there was a possibility like, hey, you know what? Scott could come back he could be playing himself. Like, now we're going to get to this in a second. I'm not saying this is right. In fact, in my opinion, it's already been proven wrong. But I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there that one of my first thoughts was like, how meta would that be if Scott Foley played himself in the movie, meaning he's playing actor Scott Foley, and we find out that Scott Foley is the actor who played Roman Bridger in Stab 3. That would be super meta, totally something Scream would do. So that was one of my first thoughts when Scott was announced. But again, like I said, I know I don't even think that's a possibility now, especially because I'm going to play a little video for you guys here, which I find very interesting about this whole thing. And let me pull this up right now, and we're going to watch it together, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Let me see. Share. Okay, guys, let's check this out. Ready?
Other news that it's been in the news lately. You played Roman in Scream 3.
I
you
did.
were a killer.
I was.
And you died.
I did.
But now you're returning. You're returning in Scream 7.
Look, man, it's Scream.
What can you tell? We were in the same hotel at the same time.
I don't know if he told you this. So I'm shooting a different show down there. I'm shooting a show called Will Trent down in Atlanta right now.
Of course.
And there's yes, Will Trent. And there's a hotel where they put up a lot of the actors for different productions.
It's nice.
And it turned out that Mark was down there last week.
You were
And-
just like down the hall from me?
Well, I had just had a conversation with Kevin Williamson, who's directing and wrote the first few Screams, is directing this one, and he wanted me to come back and play a small part. And I was so excited to sort of revisit this character, even though he died in the first one. But Mark sent me an Instagram message like, hey, I'm in the bar with Kevin, come on down. Who the hell checks their Instagram messages?
Oh, I know. I thought I had your cell phone, but
Oh, man.
now I do.
Because I was literally, it was like a snowstorm outside in Atlanta.
Did you guys get shut down?
Yeah, they shut the production down for a
Wait, are
day.
you telling me Mark slid into your DMs and you left him? What is it called? On read? What is it called?
On red.
All right, guys. All right. So we all saw that clip. That's a fairly new clip. I believe it was 2 days ago. So that to me reveals a lot about Scott Foley, aka Roman Bridger's return. Number one, I believe it completely confirms that he is in fact returning as Roman Bridger because he says it. He literally says, I was very excited to revisit this character again, even though he died in Scream 3. So right there, okay, Scott Foley, he's not playing Scott Foley. He's not playing some other character. He is playing Roman Bridger, in fact. Another thing that's very telling about this is that, he makes it a point to say a small part, a small role. Usually people don't say that unless it is in fact very small. So right there, it doesn't sound like his return. I'm not saying the character won't have a very important significance to the film. It very well could. But it sounds like his actual role is coming back in some way, shape, or form as Roman Bridger is going to be very small. Now, of course, small can be significant. Not saying that, but it sounds like he's not going to get a lot of screen time, is what I'm saying here. And the other very intriguing and interesting point that I think we can gather from this video is his story about how this happened. He doesn't say like, guys, I got the call when they were going into production and they were like, Scott, Roman's a part of the story. He's a part of the script. We really want you back. Let's send you it wasn't a story like that. He literally says, hey, I was already in Atlanta filming this TV show. So Kevin reached out to me and said, hey, you're already out here. We'd love to have you back for a small role. So it almost sounds like it wasn't even scripted. Now, again, this is just theories. I'm not even going to call it a rumor. It's just a theory. But that's what it sounds like. It sounds like Scott just happened to be in Atlanta at the same time that they are out there filming Scream 7, which they still are as I'm recording this video. And Kevin knew that, found that out, that he was out there. He just happened to be in the same hotel and reached out to Scott and said, hey, you're here. We're here. We're doing Scream 7. I'd love to have you back for a tiny role. I'd love to have you back for that. So yeah, that to me says that Roman's appearance, if it is going to in fact be like a physical appearance and not a voice appearance, it sounds to me like it's something that wasn't even in the script. It sounds to me like something that they just were like, hey dude, Scott's here, like let's get him in the movie somehow. So I think that, coupled with him saying it's a small part, and that he is in fact revisiting this character of Roman, who he confirms died, which we already knew that he died. But I think when you couple all that together, I really think that says that I think it's going to lean more into him either appearing as a vision or in a nightmare sequence. So possibly there was already a nightmare sequence that was being planned, that was scripted, that did not include an appearance by Roman, but possibly included an appearance by another past Ghostface, aka Stu, Matthew Lillard. And they just decide, dude, Scott's here. Let's get him back. Let's get Scott back for this. We can throw him in there. I think that leans more into that. But saving this for last, I do also believe that it is very probable and very possible that the opening scene of this movie is going to take place in the 90s, and we are going to see the date come up on the screen that this is whatever date in Woodsboro, California, month, day, year, flashback scene, and we are actually going to see Maureen Prescott's murder. Now, what would that mean? What would the significance be? Do I think they would just do that just to do it, just to show it finally? Yeah, I think they do, because it's such an important, iconic thing that really is the it really is the building block of everything that happens in this franchise, is Maureen Prescott's murder, and we've never seen it. The closest we've ever seen of it is Scream 3, when Sidney is in the house in the murder recreation flashback, scene. And the bedroom is all done up as if it's where Maureen was killed. that to me is something that I do think that they would do just to show it, but also that's not very Scream-like to just do it just to do it. Yes, it would be epic. Yes, I don't think anybody would complain if we got that flashback and we saw, de-aged Matthew as Stu and de-aged Billy and Roman and whatever. In the Marine murder, I'd love if they got Liev Schreiber back and had Cotton leaving first and Sydney seeing him leave. That would be incredible, which is how she, thought that the killer was Cotton. But I think it would be absolutely incredible. But again, it's just not very Scream to show something like that just to do it. So I think if this movie does in fact open, which right now is my theory is that the opening scene of this movie is going to be the Maureen Prescott murder. I think that we are going to see it for a reason. I think that something is going to be revealed in the opening scene, possibly showing that another yet unidentified person was involved in the murder. And maybe that's what we lean into in this movie is, hey, was there another killer this entire time that helped Billy and Stu? And, is that who is in fact doing these murders this time? Again, that's just my theory. That's what I'm going with right now. That's all. I could change my mind tomorrow. Okay. As more information comes out, you start to go, okay, well, I don't think it's this, but maybe it's that. But where I stand right now, that's my opinion. And I truly think that if we get Maureen's murder flashback, it's going to be for a reason. And I don't think it's going to be just to show it, just to be like, hey, fans, we've talked about this for 6 films and now finally you're going to actually see it. I don't think it's going to be that. I think if we see it, it's going to have significance to what is going on in this movie. And I think it's highly probable that there is potentially another killer on top of Billy and Stu and Roman being involved, as a whole in Maureen's murder. I think we're going to find that there was somebody else as well that we have no idea about, and they're potentially who is going to be behind these murders in this film. So that's where I'm at right now with that. But yeah, I just really wanted to show you guys, wanted to get caught up with you guys, and I wanted to show you guys that clip because, like I said, I've seen a lot of people talk about it and show the clip and share the clip, but I haven't seen anybody really break it down yet. And I really think it says a lot. I really think it shows that, hey, Roman's appearance doesn't seem to have been scripted. It seems like it was just kind of like a, hey, you're already here. Let's throw you in here somewhere. Let's get Roman back for 30 seconds or whatever. So that's interesting to me. So yeah, that's all I got on Scream 7 right now, guys. But in the meantime, I did want to open this up. I've actually had this for a couple weeks. Apologies to Alex Sawyer for how long it took me to get around to doing this video, but I've been so busy lately. If you guys saw, our company Stop the Killer Games changed its name to Beyond Killer Games. We've got some really cool stuff in the works, and we're really happy with the new name. But I wanted to open this live. This is, do a little unboxing for you guys. This is commissioned art from artist Alex Sawyer. And it is a very unique Ghostface piece. I have seen it. I have not seen it in person, obviously. But I'm very excited to check this thing out in person and show you guys this amazing artwork. Right. Just bear with me. Like I said, I really just didn't even feel like editing this video because I knew I was going to be doing I knew I was going to be all over the place. with the Scream 7 stuff, so why not just let it be raw, unfiltered video? Okay, let's get this sucker open. Wow, this is incredible, guys. Look at this. First of all, I'm going to show you the back of it. Like, how cool is it that he ages his work like this? Now, again, guys, this is a commissioned piece. So this is basically one of his many interpretations of Ghostface. So it's a new look for Ghostface, specifically for this piece. And there we go, guys. Look at that. That is freaking amazing. Again, this is from Alex Sawyer. And this is incredible, guys. His art is absolutely incredible. If you want to, I'm going to show it a little bit more, but I want to make sure I get his page correct. So that you guys can check out his other work. I actually had it like all queued up and ready to go. And like a freaking idiot, I left my phone downstairs. So yeah, that was wonderful. Yeah, I had it all freaking queued up and ready. And stupid me left my phone downstairs when I came up here to do this video. So now I'm like, and again, I know what his page is. I just want to make sure I get it 100% right for you guys, because this is amazing that he did this art, did this for me. All right. So do you guys think, let me know in the comments while I'm looking here. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about, my assessment of the news that we have gotten so far. Let me know what you think of it. If you agree, even if you disagree, I'm all for that. Let me know. And also, what else do you think we have in store? What's coming? What's coming our way next? All right, guys. So the Instagram page is Art of Alex Sawyer. So Art of Alex Sawyer, at Art of Alex Sawyer, if you want to check out his other work. And like I said, and as you can see, this is freaking incredible. I love this unique take on Ghostface. This is so cool. Thank you, Alex, for this. I'm going to get this sucker framed up, and I'm going to hang it in my office here somewhere, possibly right back there where there's a nice little gap right there. And yeah, I'm going to cherish this forever. So thank you, Alex Sawyer of Art of Alex Sawyer. All right, guys, that's it for this one. I'll be back soon. I promise. I'm trying to get back into the groove of things, doing more videos. I want to get back to the live streams on Saturdays, the little Saturday Night Lives. Really want to get back to that. It's just been crazy with the company and the name change, and we've got a lot of cool board games that we're working on that we're coming out with. We just announced we're doing the official game for Ice Nine Kills. We've got Madman coming out. We've got a couple other really crazy titles that I can't believe we have the rights to do that have not been announced yet, but will be announced soon for later this year. So you guys aren't going to want to miss that. BeyondKiller.com, BeyondKillerGames.com if you want to check out what we've got going right now. And all right, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.